How's it going, guys? So today we're going to be running through the Archway on Heroic mode. This is the first dungeon in Legion that isn't accessible right at level 110. You need to finish quite a few quests in Suramar to unlock the dungeon. In this video, I'm an 825 eye-level Fury Warrior. This dungeon has 5 bosses and is one of the more mechanic-intensive dungeons so far, so make sure your group knows what's going on. Let's get started. The first boss is Ivanir. Netherlink links 3 random players together and starts to push them apart. After 5 seconds, an arcane pool is created in the space between the 3 links, so the goal is to make the area as small as possible. The pool causes a lot of ticking damage to anyone who stands in it. Arcane Blast is just an attack to his target and isn't much of a concern. Violet Magic is cast on 3 random players and does an 8-yard AoE after 6 seconds, so get away from the group if you're marked. Overcharge Mana is his main ability, where he channels energy from the Night Crystal, which gains him stacks of overcharge. Each stack increases his haste and damage by 5%, so they need to be interrupted. Lastly, charge bolts come out of the crystal and deal damage to any player who touches them. The second boss is Korstalax. Quarantine locks up a random player and causes ticking damage for 20 seconds, or until the quarantine is shattered by a player channeling on it for 1 second. Suppression Protocol fires missiles at a random player every second for 5 seconds. These missiles cause damage to anyone within 6 yards, so move away from the group if you are targeted. Nightwell Energy increases your haste by 15% and it stacks. This buff can be gained by Energy Burst, which gives 1 stack to all players. Pools are also put on the ground for 15 seconds, which also gives stacks of the buff. Cleansing Force pulls all players in and removes 1 stack of Nightwell Energy every 2 seconds for 8 seconds. After 8 seconds, any player still within 15 yards receives a large amount of arcane damage and a 12-second stun if they still have stacks of the buff. Destabilize Orbs are summoned and last for 1 minute. They deal ticking damage to all nearby players. The third boss is General's Axle. Fell Fissure opens a rift at a random player location. After 3 seconds, the rift explodes into a Fell Spire if any player is standing on it. Wicked Slam damages all players and causes a knockback. Shadow Slash creates a wave that shoots out towards a random player, causing damage to any player hit by the wave. These waves also leave a wake of shadows on the ground that causes ticking damage to anyone who stands on them. Dread Fellbats are summoned throughout the fight, which fire shadow damage at random players and then land to attack players. Their movement speed and damage is increased the longer they are alive, so they must be killed quickly. The fourth boss is Naltira. Blink Strike teleports a boss to a distant player and causes a cone attack for 2.5 seconds. She spits venom at random players' location that lasts the remainder of the fight. This venom causes damage and reduces haste by 500%. Tangled Web pulls random players to her and connects them together with a web. This web causes ticking damage until the web is broken. This can be done by running at least 30 yards from the person you are connected to. Vicious Mana Fangs are summoned and root a player in place while damaging them. This effect is stopped once the Mana Fang gets taken below 70% health. The final boss is Advisor Vandross. Accelerating Blasts cast arcane damage at a player and increases haste by 5% for 15 seconds. This effect stacks, so the attack should be interrupted. 2 Force Bombs are summoned that explode after 5 seconds. They deal damage to all players within 5 yards and create a Force Nova. This Force Nova damages all players in it and pushes them backwards, so stay out of it for as long as possible. He will summon Chromo Shards that explode and damage anyone within 10 yards. Unstable Mana marks the player's location every half second for 8 seconds. After 1.5 seconds, the marked location explodes and damages all players within 5 yards. Banish in Time is cast at 50% health. All players are teleported away into the dungeon. You'll need to fight Timeless Wraiths to get back. Interrupt their time lock attack as it stuns players. You need to get back to the boss within 2 minutes or all players are killed. Once you get back, the boss fight continues as usual. I hope you enjoyed my guide to Archway on Heroic mode. Please check out my other videos on Legion dungeons and raids as they become available. Thanks for watching.